Hey, what's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On Hot 1025fm.com.
What's going on, everybody? It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood, and I'm here to talk to you about the Sci-Fi Center. It's your Vegas home for science fiction, horror, and fantasy. From comic books, toys, and posters to movie screenings and live events, they've got you covered. Located at 900 Cameron Avenue, Suite B209, give them a call, 702-900-4335, or reach them at thescificenter.com.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on Hot 1025fm.com.
It's your main man, 360, the poet from the Morning Wood. And are you looking for the perfect drink? Well, you found it. Mimosa Royale is the perfect combination of California sparkling white wine and natural juice that is both tasty and refreshing. No artificial colors or flavors, no sugar added, and it's gluten-free. As the world's first ready-to-drink mimosa, Mimosa Royale is perfect for any occasion, day or night. You no longer have to drink 12 of those seltzers just to get that perfect buzz. At 8% alcohol, Mimosa Royale is the perfect drink to party with. Offered in a variety of flavors and sizes, you are bound to find a Mimosa Royale that you'll love. We have berry, mango, apple, and orange, with more flavors to come. Mimosa Royale is the most award-winning flavored wine that serves in bottles or cans. You can find them online at drinkmimosa.com or find them at your local liquor store. Ask for it by name. Mimosa Royale. What's going on, Mrs. Contreras? You over here, too? I'm getting all my Facebookers in here on the other side of my camera, on this left side. My left, your right, probably. Ain't no telling. But what's happening, y'all? Well, you know what I like to say. We in this thing like a wedgie, baby. You know, I had to do that real quick, clear my cell phone. That was not a cough. I had to tell my engineer that wasn't a cough. That was a clear the throat out type thing. But what it do, y'all? What she went and grab the man. I need to have one on with your butt. You know what I'm saying? You and your hubby been over there vidding. Man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about looking at text messages when you ain't got no glasses on, okay? Let me tell you something about looking at text messages when you ain't got no glasses on early in the morning. When it's 6-something in the morning and you look at a text, and you ain't got nan bit of glasses, no contacts, nothing in your eyes, things can look a little bit different. I didn't know whether to be excited and happy for... What's going on, Crystal the Poet? Long time, home girl. Good to see you out there. I ain't know if I was supposed to be happy or congratulatory to my sister from another mister, or I was supposed to be worried. I ain't know what it was. I got a text this morning. Well, I think it came through last night while I was asleep. But what's going on, Tiff? I got a text and it had one of them little meters on it. It had like a line in the middle. I was like, oh, it's somebody. I had to look at who it was from. I was like, oh, you but it was a COVID negative test. It was a negative COVID test. So, you know what I mean? Just make sure y'all put your specs on it for those of some of my four-eyed friends and family and folks out there. Put your glasses on before you get to checking your text messages in the morning. Because, you know, what you think is a pregnancy test could be a I ain't got COVID test. You know what I mean? So, hey, just be, you know, and make sure everybody around you got their glasses on too, because if somebody trying to sneak a peek at your over your shoulder, make sure they can see what the hell they looking at too. Oh, man. I missed y'all this morning on the Morning Wood, but we here. Like I say, hollering at the homie today. The number one online advice column, whether it's online or in person, where you can hit me up at 702-551-5261, or you can tune in and tap in right here on either Instagram or Facebook Live, where we can get your questions answered for you right now. But we got a good one today, y'all. We got a doozy. Some of y'all may be able to relate. Some of y'all may not be able to relate, you know. What's up, Sapphire Gardner? What's up, Dakarai? Just celebrated a birthday the other day. All these Virgos out here in these streets. I'm going to tell y'all straight up about Virgos. I'm going to tell y'all why it's so many of these damn Virgos out here in these streets. I don't mean to say damn like they a bad thing. It's just because I seem to be surrounded by them throughout my life, right? So, I'm going to tell you why so many Virgos. Because if you think about it and you count back 9 months, they was some celebration booty. Like, you know what I'm saying? So 9 months before Virgo season is either Christmas or New Year's Eve. So they was some holiday get down. That's why it's so many Virgos out here in these streets. You dig? So, so happy birthday to all my Virgos. It's still Virgo season out there. Just on the 16th. I had a few of them on the 16th. I had Dak. I had Al McDaniel was on the 16th. I had my auntie, Val. She was on the 16th. My homeboy Tyler Dally was on the 16th. It was a bunch of y'all on the 16th. So I wonder what y'all parents was doing 9 months before that. That had to be like New Year's Eve. So y'all was some champagne loving. Y'all was off that bubbly. No, I'm just see, that's what you got to think about. Like, think about when you was made. That's when you can kind of figure out whether you was celebration, whether you was makeup sex. Like, you got, if you can find out what kind of love making made you this lovely person that you are, then you might be able to kind of figure out what it is that was happening, that love making was going on. You know what I'm saying? So that'll help you with your character, with your foundation of who you might be. You dig? So again, we got a good one today, y'all. This the first first email letter I've ever gotten. Well, not really gotten, but gotten for the show via JPay. Yes, you heard me. This letter came straight via JPay. Somebody who is incarcerated with somebody who I know got wind of the show, and I can't say the names because then the people may know that they got Facebook in there, but shout out to the people that know IYKYK. You know what I'm saying? So somebody that's locked up with somebody I know in a place together, got somebody that's got one of his partners said he about to come home, and he sent me a letter. So I'm going to read that letter in just a second, but I always got to give my disclaimer. I let everybody know I've never been trained and or ordained or anything along them lines in any psychology, psychiatry, counseling, anything along those lines. Not even, I'm pretty much like a self-made life coach, if that's how you want to look at it. But I am on here, and I've lived a vicarious life that has been covered through a lot of bases, been colorful. My life been colorful. I've lived vicariously through other people throughout my life. So that's how I've obtained the knowledge, along with some of my peanut gallery, like I like to call my gang out there, because you know what I mean? Like, y'all like to tune in and tap in. All my tap in folks that kind of come in, y'all help me out with all this information as well, too. Y'all give me some feedback also. So I'm not going to claim all of this as being all on me. So you get your answer to this letter, because the homie, I think you listening right now. You probably are, but y'all, I don't know. I got to check. I think you listen later if my homeboy told me correctly. But here we go, y'all. So we got a good one today. Like I said, we got somebody who's trying to figure out how to get out and live the regular life, man. So like I said, he's, unfortunately right now he is behind bars, but he's on his way home. He's got a come home date, and that's always a good thing to have, because that means they let you know you about to go all the way. When they say your name and all the way, that means you're going all the way through the gates, baby. So pack up, hand out anything that you ain't have before. Give away all your necessities. The people there's they necessities now. You take everything. The only thing you need to take up out of there is the stuff that means something to you. Like, if you got something that means value, that means you take that with you. But everything else, leave that thing there. But anyway, so we got one coming. He's facing a tough situation. So let me read the letter to you. Dear Holla at the homie, I'm writing you from behind these walls, but soon enough I'll be on the other side. I've got an upcoming release date, and while I'm excited about getting out, I can't lie, there's a lot I'm anxious about. The biggest thing on my mind is how I'm supposed to navigate life back on the outside, especially when it comes to my family. They were supposed to be my support system, but they barely reached out while I was in here. No visits, no letters, no calls, nothing. I feel like they just left me to deal with this all by myself. And now a part of my parole means I'll be staying with them. I don't have much of a choice in the matter, but I don't know how to handle the hurt and anger I feel about how I believe they abandoned me. How am I supposed to reintroduce myself into the world when the people who I need to rely on the most feel like strangers. What do I say to them when I get out, knowing they didn't hold me down when I needed it? And how do I let the bitterness I feel mess up my chances starting fresh? I'm trying to keep my head up, but there's a lot of uncertainty waiting for me on the outside. Any advice you could give on how to handle this would mean a lot, man. So thanks for listening. Yours, truly, trying to move forward. Trying to move forward. That's saying a lot. You say, I'm trying. You putting forth effort. You trying. Just in your title alone, big up on that. Big up on that, man. And big ups on the fact you got a release date. You coming home, dog. You on your way home. I'm coming home. That you on your way home, dog. That's what's up. So big up on that, man. So, man, where the AC at in this thing? But I don't know. The weather be changing out here in Vegas. Viva la Vega. But we were just talking about how beautiful it was out here. And now I'm sitting up here like, damn. Why Guan? But you know what I'm saying? So you coming home, homie. So let's first and foremost address that. Salute on that. You sat down for however long time you did in there, and you about to get on out that thing. So big ups to that. So I want to give you a shout out for at least reaching out, because that mean a lot. It takes a lot to at least come up to the plate and say something like something this deep. What's going on, Body B King? To say something this deep, especially when it comes to family and like feeling abandoned, right? When you feel abandoned, first thing you got to do is recognize that you're feeling abandoned. What's up, Denver Brigham? Salute, 217 in the building. When you feel abandoned, it's clear that you're on one side alone. But the fact that you're alone now means that you once had somebody who was on your side. So in order for somebody to abandon you, they had to be with you in the first place. So, and in that, I feel the pain that you talk about, because it's a separation thing, right? You got a lot of weight on your chest, man. So let's kind of unpack it. We need to talk about a couple of things just so you can have a better way of introducing yourself or reintroducing yourself into the world, right? You said something like one of the most important things to you is that family. You said that your family was supposed to be your support system. You said, and you put in emphasis, supposed to be your support system. But instead, they disappeared when you needed them the most. You said no visits. You said no letters, no calls, no nothing. And I know that's got to sting a little bit. To be inside, anybody who's ever been incarcerated knows that it's a lonely place from the first moment that you go through booking. You go through booking, you in there by yourself. Even if you got a family member that you done went in there with, in a minute, y'all gonna get split up. Depending on how long you gonna be in there, y'all might get split up. So, it's a lonely feeling, because you know that it's you against the world once you hear the clunk of them doors, right? So to feel abandoned in that moment, that's like ripping a big ass Band-Aid off. What's going on, cool traveler? That's like ripping a big ass Band-Aid off of a wound that ain't even started to heal. So you just ripping off meat. That hurts to be alone in a situation like that. That's gotta sting to feel abandoned, So now you headed back into a house filled with the people who are those who abandoned you. Like, that's like you going back into another type of a cell, if nothing else. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you feeling already mentally like you in a box, and now within that box, you got to live within the restraints of the people who didn't care about you, just like the COs didn't give a damn about you. That's got to be somewhere mentally, that's got to be, scrambling, because you don't know what to think, how to feel. So again, I appreciate you for reaching out to me and what I call my constituents out here. They'll give some input. I got some input for you. And like, you've got more power in this situation than you think you do. And I need you to understand that. I don't want you to feel as if your power is less. I don't want you don't think you're powerless. I don't want you to think that your power is less than what you have. you've got a lot of power in this thing. So let's break it down in a couple of parts. Like you got to reintroduce yourself into society. Now, that's got to be nerve-wracking, because you know that, depending again on how long you've been away from society, how much things might have changed from the last time you were on this side of the walls. How people move different, how things that you say, may affect people around you differently. How, because from our conversation, I know you've been gone for a minute. You wasn't on no bullet, wasn't no short sentence. So you've been gone for a minute, and things have changed since you've been on this side. So first things first, you got to find a way to get back into a groove on this side that feels different than the one that how you moved on the inside of those walls. Because if you still stay moving like you did on the inside of the walls, then that institutionalization will in a way take you over. It's got a chance it's got a higher probability of taking you over than if you find a groove on this side of the wall that still fits who you are today versus who you were when you went in. And anybody who knows somebody who's related to somebody who loves somebody or that can attest to what I'm talking about understands the thing about the reintroduction part. Like, you have to remember that you've got some real challenges ahead of you. So it's not going to be like, oh, okay, I know how I moved on the inside. I can move the same way on the outside. What's up, Tyson Coleman? 217 in the building. I know how I can move the same way. I'll just do it as if, like it's just freedom. No, you've got some real challenges. And the fact that you still coming, the fact that you still standing, it means the fact that you've already proven your strength. You've proven your strength, so you should not feel like, getting back into your groove requires too much of an overkill. Like, you don't have to do too much when you come home. Let's say it like that. A lot of people, depending on how you feel when you come home, whether or not you feel welcomed, whether or not so some people that come home feel like they you like my hat, Robert Cool, and some people that come home, they feel like nobody even rocks the same way that they do, or they got to feel like I'm still in the joint. You're not still in the joint when you come home. So to try to separate yourself mentally from that is going to be one of your biggest challenges. Again, like you've been gone for a little over a decade. So coming back after that, like, you've learned to adjust yourself in so many ways. So the fact that you're still standing through it all, you don't have to prove anybody, the strength that you now possess. Coming out into society is just another challenge, and now you know that you built for it. You're built for it due to the fact that you've succeeded against your challenge, the incarceration challenge. You succeeded against your biggest challenge in regards to what we're speaking of right now. So the first thing you need to do, and this is all IMO. This is my opinion. I'm based off the letter and our correspondence. I decided to move in this direction with it because I just take it slow. Don't rush yourself. Don't what's going on in life, Keisha? Don't rush yourself or trying to fit everybody else's expectations of what you're supposed to be and or who you should, air quotes, should or should not be, or get comfortable in your own skin first, bro. On this side. Again, find that groove that fits who you are today. Where your mind is today. You ain't never lied, Robert Cool. What'd you say, Denver Brigham? Tell Buddy to find him. Exactly. That's what I was just telling him. Get comfortable in his own skin first. He said find himself first. He won't feel like he feel. It's all feelings and emotions. Work on the inner self. That exactly. You heard. Read what Denver Brigham said on there. He just said it. He just said exactly what I was just talking about. You have to find out. Get comfortable in your own skin first. What you say, Janae Tyler Facts, give yourself some grace when you come home. See, the people talking to you. The people are talking to you. I'm reading their responses just the same way that I'm reading off my notes that I got over here based off your letter. Everybody's saying give yourself some time. Move slow. Give yourself some grace. Find out who you are now. Don't think you have to go back to being who you were for those people on the outside of the walls before you left. You don't have to be that. And based off this conversation, based off our correspondence and based off this letter, is nobody who's been holding you down to expect that you're going to do something to make sure that they good when you get out anyway. So now it's really just, it's kind of a better situation in regards to paying off your dues and your debts to the outside world. You don't owe anybody. According to your letter, nobody was there for no letters, no calls, no visits, not the ones who you going to live with. So you don't owe them anything in regards to that. So now all you owe them is to find out who you are, because you owe that to yourself first. Find out who you are in the free world. That's a different person than you were for the last, 11 years. That's a completely different person than you were 11 years ago on this side. 11 years. I ain't even been in Vegas 11 years. And a whirlwind of things that happened to me since I've been here. So I can just imagine the things that have transpired in your life versus on the outside versus on the inside in 11 years. And what you say, and Tyson Coleman said, and keep your promise to your mama and don't go back. That's another one. If you finding who you are, what Tyson Coleman just said right there is actual and factual. That'll keep you honest with that promise. Don't go back. Everybody promised they family. I ain't going back, mama. I ain't never going back. Let's stay true to that. Stay true to that by staying true to who you are now. Don't rush to be who people think you're supposed to be or what you think they think you're supposed to be. Again, you're built for this because you've made it through. What's going on, Greg Gerard? Another 217 in the building. What's happening with you, pimpin'? Good to see you, King. Let me see. So, things like this, you got to be able to give yourself that grace to take it slow, right? We focused on those, right? What I always say, what I found out later on in life and learned how to do recently is to take, pride and find the small wins when you come home. Look for the things that damn, you know what? Today, I didn't think blah, blah, blah. That's a small win. Today, I didn't move on blah, blah, blah. That's a small win. Today, I didn't snap on blankety blank. Those are small wins. Find those, add them up. Because when you add up those small wins, that allows you to feel a lot better about, how your growth is coming about. Get back into a routine, reconnect with people who may have had your back. Like you said, the people that, what's going on? The people who may have had your back, maybe it not be the people who you paroled out to, but it may have been somebody that held you down for, a little bit by little bit through them 11 years. Reconnect with them or just appreciate the little freedoms that you didn't have on the inside. That's exactly, Denver. What I'm saying? What you say, Dakari? Abandonment is tough. True family love is forgiveness first. Forgive yourself and forgive the fam. Find yourself in society and everything else will come in time. Exactly. Find out who you are in society. But you do have to forgive. You know what I mean? Because if you continue to harbor this, you know what I mean? It's not good for you. So if you find forgiveness through therapy, if you find forgiveness through conversation, like we're going to touch on it a little bit, we're going to touch on dealing with the family next. But first, you got to find those small wins, and those are the foundation. The foundation is key to making sure that you don't crumble again. Your foundation is key to that. And what is your foundation made of? Is it full of truth? Is it full of, is it full of anger? What is it? Because if you realize, what, maybe they didn't have to be there for me, or maybe they didn't understand that I would, again, we're going to talk about that in a second. So before you can deal with your family or anybody else or the other pressures, you have to put your foundation being your focus on you. You got to focus on you. Okay? Would you say, you got booked alone and sentenced alone? The F you mean they abandoned you? Who did you leave and abandon? Talk to me. He said you left them. That's another way to look at it. Everybody can't handle that. Everybody can't do the time with you. You understand what I'm saying? Through JPay, I've been able to keep connected with people a little bit more than I was able to before, right? With JPay being a factor, right? Before I was able to send letters and, you had to send postal money orders and stuff like that. But now with JPay, it's like Cash App and FaceTime all mixed together. You can get emails, you can send people stamps, it's all kind of. So now there's no real excuse for people that say they can't get connected. I ain't had no stamps or I ain't had no letters. If you getting Cash App, you can JPay somebody. It just costs about $5 extra to send them something, depending on how fast you want them to have it, But again, now I'm able to do. That's how I was able to get in contact with this person that sent this letter this way. But people dealing with your family, like Denver Brigham said, you got booked alone. You got sentenced alone. So you ain't nobody abandoned you. You left to go away. Everybody not built to do that time with you. So the next thing I would say is when you got to deal with your family, that's the heavy stuff, the abandonment. It's that feeling is one of the hardest things to shake. So let's talk about why you feel abandoned. And again, IMO. And based off your letter, you expected love, you expected loyalty, you expected support, right? Those are the things you expected. Instead, you got silence. You might even feel betrayed behind all of these things, right? You expected love, you expected loyalty, you expected support, but you got silence. So what does that make you feel? It makes you feel abandoned and betrayed, right? But first off, it's okay to feel that way if that's your true feelings. I never want to dismiss anybody's feelings on how, you perceive something, because your perception is your reality. If this is the way you perceive it, this is the reality in your brain, right? This is how you really feel. You know what I'm saying? People are why are you always in your feelings? Because this is how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the moment. You are in the moment, and that feeling is the most overwhelming thing. So that's what bubbles over, right? So it's okay. You don't have to pretend like everything is cool when it's not. But the question you asked is how not to let the bitter. You asked me to help you not to let the bitterness mess up your chances starting fresh. So if you harboring these feelings towards your family, again, like we said, the key is because carrying that weight on your shoulder, just think about that. You harboring these feelings, you carrying this weight on your shoulder. It's like having on a weighted backpack and you walk into school. You walk into school, the school of hard knocks. You belling. You know what I mean? You've got enough on your plate already. You just about to come home. Denver Brigham said, intellect over emotions. Or, you know what I mean? Out here, champ, keep your feelings, intellect over emotions. That means dissect it, break it down, see how you participated in this thing as well. Find those things out. Because you know what I say? When you point the finger, 3 fingers pointing back at you, that means me, myself, and I. Those are how I participated in feeling the way that I'm feeling right now. When I go to pointing fingers, when I just use my intellect while I'm dissecting it all, taking it all in, and not getting caught with the emotional side of things and being in my feelings, then I'm able to really chessboard this thing, chess match it, and look at it like I'm not trying to jump like checkers and just get to the other side. No, I'm trying to strategize on how the other side, any opposition that you may be against, is trying to take you out, or how you can take them down. So what you feeling right now is how to take down the feelings that you have that are towards the family that you feel as if abandoned you. How do you do that? You ask me how. Here's what I think. When you get out, sit down with your family. What's wrong with that? Sit down with your family. Whether it's a one-on-one with somebody who's like the patriarch of the family, the head of the household, or I have a conversation with the whole house and be honest. But go into it with the mindset of understanding why they're going to give you why they give you the answers that they're giving you, why they were the way that you felt they were, versus just airing out all your grievances. Go into that conversation not just as a I'm gonna run you over as a train. No, go into that conversation as if we coming to meet in the middle to figure out where do we go from here? Because you got to live with them. You parole to them people. So where do we go from here? So you have to figure out how to get there. My engineer over here looking at me just called me the oldest person on the planet with her eyes. Oh, she said, Grandpa, you could have came up with another song. No, I need to know from the heart. Because sometimes on the outside world, they don't understand what it's like to be locked up. They don't understand the nuances of what that means. I've had people tell me that people told them that I didn't want to, make you miss the outside world. So I didn't want to, really interrupt, or I didn't know what to say. You say that was the jazz version, but you'll take it. That's what I'm talking about, Tyson Coleman. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand what it's like to be on the inside, so they don't reach out. They don't want to ask the wrong things. They don't want to say the wrong things to make you miss something, to make you feel like, you got to do something different while you in there, or to make you feel. They don't want to make you feel any feelings. A lot of people feel that way if they don't understand what it's like on the inside, or their communication is like on the inside, because, unless you didn't have any bread for any stamps or anything like that, I'm pretty sure you could have reached out to them and expressed these things on how you were feeling. So, again, don't just point the finger at them is what I ask you to not do. I just ask you to not just go out like when you sit down in that conversation, this is what nobody likes to be chastised. You say it could have been tough love to encourage you not to go back. See, that's another thing. That's another that McFadden Amber said. They could have been not hollering at you to encourage you, you ain't got nobody when you in there. Out here, you got us all the time. They could be ready to welcome you home with a hell of a party, a welcome home. They may have a gig really already set up for you. They may have been tough loving you while you were there. So again, I want you to, when you come home, young Saya, I want you to be able to say, let me look at this again, like Denver Brigham said, with intellect, as a full picture. Look at the whole plate. Don't just focus on the beef. Look at the whole plate, if that makes sense. Because there's a lot more there that both you have to offer and they have to offer, and what y'all both have to take down and digest in regards to this situation. But you say, go get some money, champ. Family will show up fast. That's another thing. But don't go back. Don't go get no money the way they got you in there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Don't go back. Let's say it that way. But, again, like, if you come out with the open mind with the objective of, like, what does my growth from these last 11 years have to offer the world that I'm being dropped back into? What does your growth, not what do you as a person, what does your growth? That's the first thing. Like, all these things that you've learned over the last decade and some change, what does that have to offer to the world? Exactly. Learn a skilled trade, work on yourself. That's another thing. What did you take in while there? I know you read some stuff. We talked about a couple books that you read that should be some blueprints to kind of helping you get to where you can kind of get. You put me up on a book. So I know you well read, but what is your trade game like? What skilled trade are you going to have when you touch down? I didn't ask you, do you cut hair while you're in that thing? You know what I'm saying? What did you learn how to do in the last 11 years? What life skill has this lifestyle that you've had to adopt taught you to prepare you for when you came home? And that's something you can have in the conversation with your family. Talk to them. If you feel like, make sure that, y'all both feel like this should be a plus for both of us. Yes, I know I got to come home and be paroled to y'all. And I know my parole officer going to be dropping by. Let's discuss, how does that make y'all feel? I don't want to just discuss the fact that I don't want to just come in this conversation saying like, y'all left me hanging on like a hubcap in the fast lane. No, don't go out with just that conversation. You can express that. I'm not saying keep that bottled up, but go out with an objective mind. Like, how does me being home and being here make y'all feel? Because this is how it makes me feel based off these last 11 years. It's okay to have your feelings. It's okay to have the thoughts that you have. But again, you got to respect the fact that it's okay for them to have theirs too. You can't just expect to have your feelings and nobody else can have theirs. Like, you the only person with feelings in the world. That ain't the way to work. That ain't the way to move. Go into it with the mindset of understanding versus the mindset of just airing out your grievances. I promise you'll get way further, Let them know, like, the little small acts of love, like letters or visits or like calls meant to somebody else on the inside. Not to say like, man, y'all left me, again, like, that made you feel a certain way because you saw the opposite side of the coin. You saw somebody getting called, being able to call. You saw somebody opening and reading letters. You saw packages. You saw people's commissary getting filled up by the people who they feel like love them in the capacity where you didn't feel like your family did. You say you've become a dependent of the state and the government. Release yourself from dependency first. Do for self. That's Denver Brigham telling to you like that. And he and I both know some folks that sat down for a minute. And different reactions behind different people when they came home and how they moved when they came home. So we speaking to you from love. Do for yourself first, because that's who you've had to depend on for the last 11 years, according to your letter. Like I said, you didn't say that you were all alone, but the people who you are being paroled to weren't the ones that were there for you. So if there were other people who gave you that love and you had to depend upon that love from those other people that you may get back around when you get out, whether good, bad, or indifferent, I hope all good. But if that made you feel a certain way or if that got you through, express that to them. But again, not in a way like where, none of this has to be beef. It can be a conversation between those people because apparently you still got love for them. You didn't speak ill of them in a way other than the fact that you feel as if they abandoned you. But like somebody said, that could have, like Amber McFadden said, that could have been tough love to encourage you not to take your butt back up in that thing. You know, that could have been tough love to say, like, you know, I don't want to feel this pain that you feeling, because when I talk to you, I break down. Everybody's not built for that. McFadden Amber said, share your experiences with your younger people in the family. That might be helpful. Brigham Denver said, talk to the partner last week with 230 and 8 left. like 2 out of 30 and 8 left. No whining, no crying, big dog talk. No pity parties, grow up. Exactly. He said doing 30 and he got 8 left. So that's what I'm saying. We got people who, we speaking from experience, trying to help you get through this passage that you about to experience. Because again, I'm not about to sit here and ish on your time. Like you did 11, bruh. 11 years. A year is a long time to me. But you did 11, bruh. 11. So I'm not sitting there saying that your time was no rinky dink. But again, that's been 11 years that these people been moving without you on the outside. So you know you've been depending on you for the last 11 years. So come out with that mentality. Like, yes, I've been, depending on me. So I can come out, be on my feet. If you've been showing people, if your thing is, I'm going to show you, whether you're from Missouri or not, you can show me, then that's what you need to get out and do. But you got to show you first. Show yourself who you are first on this side. If anybody needs anything proven, it's you prove to yourself that you can still be who you want to be on this side. And you don't have to be and move how you did on the other side. I'm not giving you any excuse for their absence. Like we said earlier, talking about like you got sentenced by yourself, you got booked by yourself, you got locked up by yourself. I'm not saying anything. I'm not ishing on any of that and giving any excuse for the absence of the people in your life. But it might help you to understand where their head was at if they can understand where your head was at. Tell them how their absence made you feel and not just be mad at them for being gone or not being there for you as you may feel. But also you have to be open to hearing their side. Because if you're not, then having a one-sided conversation, it's just going to be like you just venting. Like you just venting for nothing. Because it's going against a blank wall, because they're never going to hear you out again if you're not willing to hear them out. That's just how we move as humans. The moment people stop listening to us, we stop listening to them. Like, well, if my words don't have value, neither do yours. Closed off. Could be permanent, could be temporary. McFadden Amber, a simple "I missed y'all" will work. You ain't never lied. What's up, Devin Divine Productions? McFadden Amber said a simple "I missed y'all" would work. That would go a long way. Yo, I missed y'all, family. Like real spit, like, damn, it was good to see y'all. I missed y'all. Like a sincere, I miss you mean a lot. Means a lot. Because people see it in your body language. They see it in your eyes. They hear it in the tone of your voice. If you really miss somebody, like, ooh, it shows. It shows. It shows. A simple, I missed y'all will go a long way. Because you never know. If you have been incommunicado, if you haven't been talking to them, maybe they've been going through their own ish. Maybe they've been having their own life to live on this side of the wall, and it may be more difficult without you. They may be suffering in your absence. You might have been a breadwinner for the house. You might have been security for what it is they do. Being able to say my big brother will beat you up, it'll go a long way. You know what I'm saying? Anything. You know what I mean? My son ain't going to go for that, sir, so get out the way. You go a long way when you home. But when you locked up, when my son come home, we gonna handle this. Well, he be home in 12 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that ain't going to bother me. I'll be gone. It goes a long way. You never know. It may have their own stuff going on. So don't just come out just jumping down their throat is my suggestion. And Having an understanding of their perspective may go a longer way than just saying how you feel about it. And when you speak your truth, speak it from a place of wanting to rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, don't just speak your truth like, matter of fact, I'm chief. No, don't just do that. Speak it from a place of wanting to rebuild, not just rehashing the past. Like, I wish, woe is me, woe is me. Let them know you trying to move forward, and let's clear the air first. How would that feel? To be able to just clear the air. Would you say Tyson Coleman? Blank was hurt. We were supposed to win the championship. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was hurt. People hurting. When the money go, or when somebody, a certain player on the team go, and say, I was hurt. You know? People, a certain player on the team disappear. Like, that way different on people. And to not be able to help you in the way, like, it meaning like stop you from going or bring you home early, like, to not be able to do that weighs a lot on people. But again, a simple I missed y'all, or I miss y'all, thank y'all, a simple thank y'all for having me. You know, I could have been stuck in a halfway house type thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you it's a lot of options when the state kick you out. You actually got a place to go and call home. You actually have an address to go to. Your address is not one of these weeklies that you go to report to that take all the money that they give you for the job that they give you when you come home. If they give you one, if you got a program like that in your state. Brigham Denver said, be mad at the judge and the DA, not your family. Exactly. Yeah, he said, yep, lead with love and it will be reciprocated. That's what McFadden and Amber say. Exactly. If you lead with love. What's going on, Carmen Brucato? Like, if you lead with love, then love should, bounce back off the wall. Like, if you be like, I love you, they ain't gonna be like, I hate you, go to hell. Like, I would hope not. Because if it's genuine, people see that. People see that. People feel that. But after all of that, after you speak with them, after you talk to them, after the conversations have been had, then you got to find a way to set your boundaries. And finding those boundaries, one thing you set them, to make them clear. If the way you move is different than what they, if you don't like people all in your space and, you've developed a mentality over these years, that's not going to go away right away either. So you got to be able to come out speaking with love. That way your boundaries, when you set them, will be clear and understood. Nothing better than a good understanding. I'm telling you, one thing you got to do is you got to set those boundaries in order for everybody to be okay. Sometimes that comes with finding your own support system. You might have to do that. Sometimes the family we born into isn't the family we need. So if all these things that I've told you already don't work out, then you got to find a way to, bite your tongue for a minute to find a way to get to another position. Exactly. At least it's with family and not with strangers. Like, at least you know something about these people. You once knew something about them 11 years ago. If they haven't filled you in, we'll tell them, fill me in. What's been going on for the last 11 years? That's a couple nights worth of conversation, I would think. You know what I'm saying? Like, But again, if all these things don't work with your family, with your born family, then you got to find your own support system with your chosen family, Find friends of people who've been through what you've been through, or who've been there with you while you've been through what you've been through. Because at the end of the day, you got to take it one day at a time, the same way you just did your sentence. One day at a time. Don't let those days do you. One day at a time. So, again, once you've sat down with your family, once you've set your boundaries, and once you've gone through the things like dealing with the issues and finding out who you are first, I think you'll be all right, Mr. Trying to move forward, because you're trying to move forward. So my final thoughts on this as we prepare to get up out of here is like, you're on the verge of a new chapter, bro. And while the road, it may look like it might be shaky, or it may look spooky, or it may be something fearful in the way, you got what it takes to get through it, man. You just proven that over the last 11 years. You did 11 years in the pen. Would you say you just sent a text to the best friend that you haven't spoken to in almost a year? Look at you, Devin Divine Productions. Look at what we're doing out here, Holla at the Homie. That's good. I might need to do that. Because there's some people I ain't spoke to in almost 7 years, But again, like, Mr. Trying to move forward, you got what it takes. Take it one day at a time. Be real with yourself first. Go find a youth group and get involved. That's another way to give back. Find out who you are first. Get in tap with those feelings. Let your family know with love how things have been going over the last 11 years with their absence. And be ready to let them reciprocate and let you know how things have been going with your absence. Keep your head up, man. Stay focused. Like I said, you got to outdate. It's some people that's sitting there with you that don't have that. Exactly. Oh, look at that. Devin Divine Production said, too many classmates are dying. I need to let some stuff go. Exactly. So too many people out here dying, man. We lost celebrities out here in the last couple weeks, man. So you'll be all right, trying to move forward. You got to outdate. So, keep your head down, keep your head on the swivel. Because you know how I get in them last few days up in that thing. So keep your head on the swivel. And when you come home, man, I think you'll be all right, man. And you survived the hardest part. Now it's time to start thriving. All right? You know what I mean? So, again, y'all, to anybody who ever has any issues, questions, or concerns, hit your boy up at hollaatthehomie@gmail.com. That's HOLLAATTHAHOMIE@gmail.com. Or hit us up on hot7025fm.com and put in the subject line, Holla at the Homie. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. I'm going to holler at y'all in a minute.
Hi. Hey. What's up?
All your favorite artists.
Check it out.
Say my name.
DJ Khaled.
This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.